No, Triple H. This might be Triple H going back and himself. It's like, here's the new Vince. What I think of that.
Yeah, but this was one of those moments that it never took me out of it. You know, like it kind of at this point, this was like the conundrum. I knew this was it. So that's why it just never really took me out. I mean, nowadays the problem is what takes me out of it is looking at somebody's Instagram page. Instantly takes me out of it, because an hour ago they were hating on each other, and the next hour they're doing crazy poses through Snapchat filters and all sorts of other crazy stuff. That's what takes me out of it. But this doesn't. This is fine by me. I had no problems at all, because it's the end of the match. It is what it is.
Yeah, and it's almost like to the point where this should have been the main event, because then if they needed to, they could have cut this. Yeah,
exactly. There you go, the other horsewomen, as we see that they were going to go under. But it's crazy, the talent in that ring right now. Really, all four. I know Charlotte's got that recognition, but you just feel like all four of them, could be having something.
I'm still waiting for that moment, though. I'm still waiting for that all four of them coming together as a team. I'm still waiting for it.
Oh well, you almost did see it, Matt, when they tried it on with the other horsemen.
Right, okay, yeah, that wasn't great. But I'm sure they could do better if they tried.
Then Seth Rollins, Matt.
Oh, yeah. Was that his ex-girlfriend?
Yeah.
A whole lot of problems there. Let's not get into that.
I'm surprised they didn't cut that out of this yet. Surprised that's been left in there, to be honest with you. He was of course, at this point, Matt, Seth Rollins, worth mentioning, was he was a champion, wasn't he, at this time, Matt? So, he
they were definitely backing him hard, weren't they?
Yeah. There we go, Bullet Club t-shirt. Always somewhere, Matt, that t-shirt. That's got to be like the t-shirt of all. In fact, two I can see in my view there. So it's got to be the most best-selling t-shirt ever, isn't it, that Bullet Club one, Matt?
Yeah, definitely. It's amazing what difference 3 years makes. I'm looking at even Triple H and I'm thinking he's got a lot less wrinkles there.
Yeah.
His forehead is not as wrinkly.
The beard, it's the... he's covered it up. He looked very corporate then, didn't he, Matt? Like he was just getting into it. I think he had he had that transition into being, Triple H off character. It did take a while for him to get, one or the other. But now you feel like he's totally grown into that. The only thing I wish they would do is stop having him either being a heel or a babyface on Raw, because just make him a freaking babyface now, because we know this guy works on NXT. It just winds me up every time. And the same as Stephanie as well. That's the only confusing thing about them two. So here we go, the main event, Matt. After talking about all that, we still have this match. Kevin Owens at this time. I've got to say, Matt, I was loving Kevin Owens when he first came into NXT. Total freshness, different kind of heel than what we'd seen. Just one that could kind of back it up. Very vicious, like we're seeing here. Up against, of course, Finn Balor, Matt, who certainly the character from Japan would been brought in quite heavily at this point, not used like it is today. And that whole demon thing was very much kicking off very well at this point, Matt. In many ways, Matt, looking back, you kind of wish perhaps they didn't do the demon down here and they'd saved it for the main roster, for actually give him something by the time he got there. But I kind of feel like Finn Balor's best days, even though he was the first ever Universal Champion, were still very much in NXT at this point, and probably in Japan.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that he's had those moments and had those best moments with Squid. But to be fair, I think if we didn't get those NXT moments on Demon Finn Balor, we may never have had them, because I think we're looking at it like Triple H is a fan of that, but I am really not sure Vince is sold on it, because
it's crazy, really.
The reason why it's cut from his character, because the position that he's in now, if he was to bring that back, people would instantly be invested in him again. They'd be like, okay, because we all know the superstition kind of thing, where he's supposed to be a different kind of character when he puts the
He's
paint
also,
on.
he's also unbeaten on that main roster as the Demon character. I don't know if you know that, but and apparently, I've been reading somewhere where Vince doesn't want to use it on throwaway matches because he wants to wait until the moment's right where he can bring that out and he's going to make a big deal. And I hope that's the truth. For me, it's unusual that Vince wouldn't like the Demon character because he is so like out there with characters like that normally. The generic look of this guy here, like the indie looking wrestler, normally isn't Vince's thing at all. It's like far from it. So, again, whether it's because it's not Vince's creation, maybe that's got a lot to do with it. You look at this Matt Hardy thing, he doesn't like that as much, I don't think, because it wasn't his baby. But, now Matt, Kevin Owens here, he'd lost the belt, of course. What was it, in Japan, wasn't it? Like, they'd done a tour over there and he lost it at that show. I think it was it called the Beast in the East tour that they did? And
that was the one.
Finn Balor would win. So this was kind of the big rematch from that. But this time, of course, as you saw in the promo there, the ladder was going to be brought into effect, Matt, and be made of it. But, from what I remember, Matt, these two had tremendous chemistry with each other. And, again, the feud, very, very good. Very well done. And it's worth pointing out... what's his name? Sami Zayn. He was injured at this point, wasn't he? I think like they took him out on the story as well.
That was kind of the part that got Kevin Owens all that he deserved, wasn't it? That he would be willing to do that to his best friend. And kind of the thing that I liked about that as well was that he never really elaborated on why he did it. He just always said it was about business. It wasn't personal. It was about business, and it was a different dimension to a character because all the time it was always a personal matter and everything. I just like the difference between him when he said he was a prize fighter and Sami Zayn is actually the bad guy because he's taking it personal when it really wasn't that personal.
Yeah. Loved this entrance back then. A lot better back here for Kevin Owens when he did this. Strutted down, didn't just kind of do what he does now. I feel like, again, it's generic stuff, but here we had a very original kind of entrance for Kevin Owens, and everyone was kind of into this guy, although you didn't kind of want to be. You kind of enjoyed that sort of very, he was one of the few guys, Matt, that you didn't know what he was going to do. He'd either say stuff to fans, he'd piss them off, like just by going past somebody. Very old school attempt back then. Of doing
definitely
that.
One of those guys that generates respect because I think every time I've seen him, I've always stood up when I see him come out.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the fans do that as well. And even though he's fighting Finn Balor this night, I think I was very 50-50, but I think if I was going to go one way, I was probably leaning more on the Kevin Owens side.
Yeah.
I think it might have been this night. I think actually before this, if I go back on my memories, I think I wasn't really sold on Finn Balor. I think I didn't really like Finn Balor. I think it might have been this match that turned my opinion on it.
Yeah. I remember you saying you were waiting for this entrance to see what that was going to be like, the feeling we got from it, from the Finn Balor one, the demon character, the whole thing. But, again, the music was different. They put on that. You had a different start to it, didn't we, back then with the music?
Oh yeah, it's the heartbeat in that, and I think this might have been my favourite one out of all the ones that he's done. This sounds funny, it's strange, maybe. I've been to two that he's been at anyway as a demon, so it's not biased because it was the only one I've been to. He was there, but I think this was my favourite one.
Yeah, I remember enjoying sort of the whole thing with it and how well he'd done it, and again they really embraced it here on NXT for this guy, just how well they were doing it. You can tell the effort gone in. Again, very much Triple H influence, I'm believing at this point. Now, Matt, as we're seeing this amazing entrance, wasn't this the match where some guy was getting kicked out of the crowd for throwing in one of the bloody what do you call it?
That would be the one. Yeah. Poor guy. It's part of the respect, isn't it? chuck some of that arena for that.
Yeah, he was, and then of course everyone was like, "Let him in, let him back," and then he got a cheer when he did actually come back, and then there was a welcome back chant. It's hilarious how the crowd got him back into the arena after being kicked out, which was only for a respectful thing. The guy had probably seen it being done in Japan, so that's probably why he brought him along with him. But yeah, it was quite odd. But yeah, this is a great entrance here with the belt just in front of him.
Definitely is, and now it's bringing back memories to me. I'm looking back on it, I'm thinking, did WWE look back on the archive enough? Have they seen what they're missing out on? I mean, this Finn Balor character here is better than the one that comes out and flicks his collar up.
And again, he's smiling all the time as well.
Oh, it winds me up
so
bad.
Yeah, it's bad. It's like they're telling him, just do it more. Really, really good. You know? Christ, that smile is going to end up costing him big time with the fans. I can see them in the end turning on him if he keeps that up. So you've got to be careful.
Let's see a smiley demon.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Let's change it. Let's have the inclusive demon.
Yeah, still though, like even on the latest edition of 2K, you can still play as the demon. And they still rate it higher than
yeah. Well, believe it or not, I was talking about getting the game earlier. I loved playing as Finn Balor, and I'd make a wrestler up and leave all those stuff on during the match because it looked so good on the game, with his hand with all the pins stuck to it and stuff, and the hair thing with the belts coming out of it. I mean, you could do that. So I loved Finn Balor in the game. It was one of the only characters, I believe, Matt, that was actually done. In fact, all the NXT guys, as I recall, were done really well, and all the main roster guys were done terribly, which was probably had something to do with the fact that they probably went down to the Performance Centre and actually copied them properly, and done the entrances properly, whereas the main roster ones, they were terrible. But these Finn Balor, and there was another, I remember him and someone else on the game that just looked absolutely brilliant on it. But it's great when you get that. But what, he's again, I put him in the same category as Bailey at the time. I remember saying that Finn Balor, sky's the roof. That you got an adult audience with the whole Bullet Club thing, and at the same time you've got a child audience with the Demon, and in between that you've got a very neutral between both characters. And sky's the limit. You had the merch seller with the Demon, and you had the cocky attitude of the Bullet Club. Like, how can you go wrong again with all that incredible wrestling background? Well, just watch the last how many years and you'll see how bad it can all go.
And they've almost reversed that now, though, because the Spidey Finn Balor is the one that you can market to the kids with his all-inclusive rainbow shirt. And now Demon one is the one that adults are going, not those NXT days, New Japan days. And that's almost a difference as well, because they've really marketed the Demon. He has to be red and black, but no, throughout Finn Balor's career, he was known for doing multiple different additions to this face paint.
One of my favourite paints that he did in Japan, one of still to this day, is the Venom one he done. Don't know if you ever seen that, but it's based on the character Venom from Marvel. Recommend.
He must be a big Marvel fan. I've seen Punisher one.
I'd recommend looking that up for anybody. But in Japan, he was coming out as a different thing every time. I mean, it wasn't just this; it was all kinds of different crazy stuff. And you can imagine being in somewhere like Japan, getting all that influence as well. So heavy on manga and stuff like that. He was going all over the show for it, and that's kind of where all that kicked off. To where it is. But yeah, I mean, like I say, it's a shame it got just to this one character, but there's so many in there that he could do. Unfortunately, I heard him talking about he was on Table for Free, and he was talking about his characters with, I think Matt Hardy was on there, and Finn Balor said across to him, he's like, yeah, I've got another one as well, not just the Demon one, and this one's a craft